Record. Okay, Bekele. Thank you for doing this. At this point now, you're returning some sort of favor to me, which I really appreciate. I know it's a Saturday and you're spending some of your Saturday with me, so thank you for doing that. We will be quick. This interview really is just to hear your experience, let people hear how you got to where you are today, what the journey looked like, because I always tell people it's never easy. Don't let anybody sell you any sort of fantasy. You have to put in the work. So hearing, I think once people hear firsthand from people that have gone through the program and they've been successful, they see, they kind of envision what to expect. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on today in the interview. So just very quickly, tell us about yourself, who you are, what you've done in the past, and, how long you've been in Canada, if you want to add that as well.
Okay, well, now I'm a business analyst. But my background, I've been in Canada for, I think, almost 6 years. So I came to study, and last year, 2021, I graduated. And within the course of these 6 years, I've been able to work in numerous industries, in the food and beverage industry, as a cashier, as a barista, as a sales associate. I was also a fundraiser. I was a recruitment coordinator. I was an account executive in the tech sales. So I've had like different
many roles.
Yes, and not just only many, but like diverse, because I just was trying to figure out what like suits me.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my brief experience. But majorly I would say I have like sales experience.
Yeah.
And yeah, I studied communication studies. So even that is also quite different from the roles I've also been in. So
yeah, very interesting. Okay, thank you for that. So what was that driving factor? I remember very clearly our very first consultation call. I remember your voice. I'm like, she sounds like a baby. And I think over our journey together, I have really taken you as someone who is just like, a younger mentee, and I'm trying to shape you in certain paths. I know your generation is very different. You guys see things from a different perspective, which I appreciate. Very bold, I must say. But what was that driving factor for you to say, okay, this is where I want to go? Or what made you choose business analysis?
I would say that I am a very driven person. So wherever I work, I put in my best. And I get that from every employer or even employees. But it was like I was putting my best in something I did not like, or I wasn't benefiting from like monetary. So I decided that, you know what, let me find something else that suits my persona and would also pay me well. So a lot of my friends were talking about tech, but I was like, I don't have that experience. I'm like very far from that. And I was searching a friend told me about business analysis, and I was just searching online and on Instagram, and I saw your page. And I think what really also drew me to it is the fact that you always reinforce that you really do not need to have a certain like certification to be able to do this. It's a field that is very transferable. And what motivated me was also seeing how you are very consistent, because I went and I scrolled on your page and I saw how you're very consistent. I also saw like testimonials, and to be very honest, that's what actually motivated me, seeing other people that were able to achieve that, because I am very new to this space and I want to see others like knowing that coming from a different background that has done it. And a major factor was also the money for me. So
girl.
yes, as an immigrant here just graduating, and my parents invested a lot in me, I want to be able to see that investment, come to term. So
yes, very good. I really like everything that you've said. Again, I remember our first conversation, and even after talking, you said, I think I want to do this. I said, you can do it. Just from hearing you speak, you talk about what you had done in the past. I'm like, you can do this. I think you have the drive, and you proved me right. You did it. It wasn't an easy journey. It took some months, but you eventually did it. You were able to secure not just, I think, multiple offers.
Yes, I think around two.
Two offers, yeah. So, I think that's good. That's very good considering that this is just a starting point. Like I always say, the sky is your limit. Once you break in, the opportunities are limitless. But before we go into that, the next thing I want to ask you really is just, you went through the program, you saw the delivery. I always tell people, I know I'm going to put in my best to the best of my ability for everybody. It's equal, it's like an equal playing field for everybody. But you have to bring something. I give you 50, you also have to give me 50. So tell me about your 50, because I know, like, I can always tell myself, I can say this is what I can do, but I also want people to hear firsthand from you.
Yeah.
How did you bring your 50 into it? Because I think that's very important for people to know they have to do the work.
Yes, absolutely. I would say that, like you saying that, I'm just remembering myself being in the process. It was not an easy journey.
Yeah.
And I believe how I brought my 50 was knowing that I want to do this, and I just resigned from my job.
Yeah.
That was
that's one of the bold moves I was talking about.
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
like, I know what I want to do now. I resigned
Yeah.
from the job and I just focused solely on our classes
Yeah.
and started doing my resume. I always turned in my assignment
On time.
first in the class too, because I was like, I am making this sacrifice and I have to see you through. So that was the first step I did. And from that on, once we're done with classes, I actively every day, I took it like a job. Like applying for a job is like a job itself.
That's right.
Yeah, and one thing you told me was not to mass apply, was to be intentional about my applications. So I went through every job description, companies that I liked, and I was able to tailor my resume to each of them. It was very tiring. It wasn't, but I've never experienced tailoring my resume. You were the one who told me about that. So I had to tailor my resume and cover letter to each application. But I think I saw the result of that because I was able to understand and be great at the interview because I was able to know in depth because I researched
what you were looking for. That's right.
Yeah. So I would say that was how I was able to put in my 50%. I was very consistent, even on days that I did not want to be consistent. Sometimes I would leave my house to go to like school just to be to have that sphere of, everyone is working and okay, I need to also work. But that was how I was able to put it in and also have accountability. And I think I was always updating you too.
Yes. So you would sometimes just send me a message and I'm like, okay, I'm going to respond with a voice note because I don't think I need to chat or write anything. So I would respond. And you were consistent, which is the key. I always tell people you can't do this 1 month and give up. Some people are so lucky, they get it in a month, they get it in 6 weeks. Some people it takes 6 months, some people even up to a year, some people 3 months. So everybody's journey is different. But the key is to be consistent, which is what you have said now. You never gave up. Sometimes I would wake up and I would see a message from Bekele and you're like, I'm done, nothing is happening. I'm like, girl, you can't stop. Keep going, keep going. So I'm really, really proud of you. I have to say that. And again, like I said, I spoke to you just last week. I know that there's so many other opportunities coming in the future for you. Your future is so bright. You're young, you have a lot ahead. So this is the beginning. And I know I will be hearing way more success stories from you in the future. But before I let you go, one last thing that you would advise someone who is in your shoes. They are trying to make a transition, they have some professional experience from whatever background. What is that one advice? Or they may even be a new immigrant. What is that one advice you want to give to them?
That's a lot because I would have some things to say. I literally was talking to a friend just like a few hours ago about a career in BA too. And I would say my advice is to, as we already said, be very consistent. If you want a dream or you want a job, go after it. Don't be scared. And I would say be bold. Be bold and don't feel like your voice should not be heard, because when I had interviews I was always feeling a little bit timid, and as I continued I was like, I know my stuff, and you kept saying that, like, for you to get to this point, you know what you're doing. So once you decide to start a journey and you have learned and you understand, just to know that you know this and go ahead, because that's the first impression that majority of the people you're going to be working with
We'll
see.
get, yeah.
Yes, and it also just shows that, you've spent hours in this particular course that you want to actually see that come through. So I would say be extremely bold,
Yeah.
believe in yourself, and just be consistent.
Consistency. Amazing. Thank you so much, my sweet girl.
You too.
Yeah, this is it. Like I said, I won't take too much of your time. It's a Saturday, but this is all I wanted to do. So again, thank you, and we'll definitely keep in touch.
Okay, thank you so much, Cass, for
All
your
right.
always being there when I text and
Of course. All right. Take care, Bekele.
all right,
Okay,
bye.
bye.